What we're going to do for the next 10 minutes is I'm going to hit you with a lot of information like a fire hydrant, and I hope that you get it. A lot of what we're going to cover is in your student ministry guides that you got when you walked in. If you kind of look at that student ministry guide, one thing that I want to call your attention to, and this covers a lot of the questions that we get from most people, is dates. I'm a planner. I love to be ahead of the curve when it comes to plans, because if you don't know when we have things planned, then I can't expect your student to participate. And so one thing that I want to mention is our fall retreat is changed. I thought that I would get out in front this summer. I would send home postcards. I would put the bat signal up to tell you when our fall retreat was, so that you could make sure that that weekend was open for you and your student, and then something changed. And that's just the way that it goes. Maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. But our fall retreat, you'll see probably somebody scratched it out on that date card. Our fall retreat is now the weekend after. And so if you'll just make plans or changes, maybe you haven't gotten that far yet, maybe you've begun to make plans for this fall, but our fall retreat is now October 15th through the 19th. There's a lot of information in that student ministry guide. Don't be shy. There's a lot of information in that student ministry guide that I'm just going to let you look at. And then if you've got questions, of course, I would love to answer them. I would love for you to ask them. The second thing is, this upcoming Sunday, we're going to start back with our normal and regular Sunday night routine. And that looks like right here in this space that you're sitting in, the celebration space. We'll do a snack supper here. And then after snack supper is over, we move down into our student ministry wing, where we'll finish the rest of the night with worship, message, and breakouts. And it's pretty much the same schedule every Sunday night, unless there's something special happening. And if there's something special happening, we will broadcast it to you in 18 different ways to make sure that you know. Speaking of that, communication. This is Ellyn Gilbert. For those of you who may not know, if you have communicated with anybody in the last 2-3 years, it's probably been Ellyn more than me. And so Ellyn, make no mistake, Ellyn runs this whole joint. And so if there's a question about communication, registration, sign-ups, or the like, Ellyn is your person.
And I wanted to point out, too, that a lot of information that you can always find on our website. We have a new website. We have a new website. Millage, he kind of handles all that. He's fabulous, and he is good about getting things up to date. So if you checked it today, it's not going to have a month ago what we did. It's going to have what's coming up. So make sure you always check there. If you have never received an email from me, even if you are just now joining student ministry because you have a 6th grader that just went into 6th grade, you should have already gotten emails from me welcoming them into student ministry. If you have not, you need to contact me, because it means we probably just don't have your email address, or maybe a mailing address, because I think we've mailed things, we've emailed, and then I think there's even text. So lots of ways that we can communicate with you as long as you give us that information to do it. Is that it?
Yes. Sunday morning is an important part of growing up as a teenager in church, because we believe that everything kind of points to Sunday morning worship. Sunday mornings, we have, of course, our 3 services as of right now, but then we also have Sunday school, and we have some Sunday school teachers sitting right down here in front.
Rock stars.
We have Sunday school at the 9:30 hour. And so if you are coming, if you're coming at 9:30, you can come to service and send them to Sunday school, or you can go to 11 o'clock and come early, and you go to Sunday school, they go to Sunday school, and then go to 11 o'clock service. So we wanted to make sure that you knew that there is Sunday school at 9:30 for students. We have a middle school class and a high school class. Snack supper, if you were paying attention, you heard that on Sunday nights we do a snack supper. This is something in between a snack and a meal. It is not a 3-course meal. There is no, there are no candles on the table and fine china. It is really something designed to get students through the night so that they are not distracted by their stomach. So it's really just something to put inside of them so that they can get through the night with us. What we ask is for every family to consider taking one Sunday a year. If we can have all of our families take one Sunday per year, then that's all that anybody will have to do. And what ends up happening is families can pair up with another family so that the burden is not so great. We've even had 3 families together. And so Ellyn has a Sign Up Genius. It's an online sign up, and you just pick your date, you put your name in, and what's really neat about Sign Up Genius is that it gives you automatic reminders when it's coming up to your turn. And so that's how we do Snack Supper. I would love for you to consider just taking one. We don't need to be an overachiever. Don't take 4, just take 1 and give everybody an opportunity to do that. We would so appreciate that because we love having families come in, parents come in and see what we do and experience student ministry, and then an opportunity to give back. So that's Snack Supper. We do have a lot of times, if you're new, if you've never done it before, you're not sure what to do, we've got a list of 10 things that students love, that are pretty cheap, and that go a long way. And so if you want that list, you can email us and we'll give it to you. Confirmation. For those of you who have a middle schooler, our tradition, our United Methodist tradition, we have a process called confirmation. And what that process really is students get to make their faith their own. A lot of times when students are growing up, they're borrowing the faith of their parents. And we believe that at some point, and we believe that that point is in middle school, students need to have an opportunity to claim their faith as their own. And so if that's something that your student has never done before, I would love for you to talk to us or talk to Stephanie right here about confirmation and what it can do for your student. I would ask for you to consider that quickly because our first session of confirmation is fast approaching on the 25th. We're doing this a little bit different. We're doing it on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. And I know that could be problematic from time to time. One thing that COVID has gifted us with is technology, where now we will be recording every session so that in the event that you cannot be there, and make no mistake, we really would love for you to be present, but if you can't be present, there's going to be a recorded session, and then you'll get all of the resource, all of the homework, which is not a lot, but the thing that you need to be thinking about or the questions that you need to, Stephanie said there's no homework. Sorry. Things to consider. Is that fair? Minimal, yes. That way they're prepared for the next lesson. So we're really glad that COVID has given us that gift of being able to do and being able to learn how to do that. Like I said, that is on the 25th. And if you want to sign up for confirmation, it's super easy. Website, student ministry, confirmation. It's right there. Parent teams. This is something brand new. I love to try new things to get parents involved because I have found that in 10 years of student ministry, when parents feel like they have an ownership and a stake in it, it makes a huge difference. So here's what I want to try to do this year. I want to try to have 3 teams. I'm going to have a resource team, a prayer team, and a setup team. The setup team is not new. This is something that we did last year, and it was a tremendous help because what happens is the arrangement that you are sitting in is for 9:30 service, and then what we do is we flip this room so that we can have snack supper in here on Sunday nights, which means all the tables and chairs, the tables have to come out, and then the chairs have to be arranged, and there's a lot that happens on Sunday afternoons, and to have help, y'all, is incredible. It's just such a gift. And so if that is something that you think that you could do on a rotating basis, one Sunday a month, what an incredible help that is to Ellyn and I. The resource team, there are often times where I will need a bunch of random stuff, like a Sega Genesis or bales of hay or things that I don't have here at church, that if I had a team that I could send an email to and say, hey, I need these 10 things, using our context, we could probably come up with those 10 things and they would probably be free. And so I would like to start kind of instituting that resource team so that we can get the things that we need and get them for free. Free is always good. And so if that's something that you might like to participate in, I would be super grateful. And then the last thing is a prayer team. One thing that we started last year that will begin again is a student prayer team. asking for prayer requests from students through the week. And then what I would like to do, upholding confidentiality, is to be able to send those prayer requests to another team of people who will commit to praying for our students who need prayer. And so if that is something that you would like to participate in, again, that probably doesn't require a lot of time, but that is a way that you can be a blessing to students in our church and in our community. So those are the 3 teams. We will be sending out an email this week with an opportunity to sign up for one of those 3 teams. You don't have to, but this is a way that you can get involved and you can be a part of our student ministry. The next thing is the Century Fund. We've done this for a couple of years now. The Century Fund is a separate fund that I use only for 3 things, and you'll find those 3 things on the agenda. Transportation costs a lot of money when you're moving 130 kids. Scholarships for students who can't afford to go or do things that we do, I pull from there. And then subsidizing events and off-campus retreats. We used some of our Century Fund money this weekend when we did kickoff so that the price would be lower for everybody. So I use it in those 3 ways. I won't use it to buy anything else, not chairs, not cameras, not whatever else. I don't use it for that. I use it for those 3 things and those 3 things only. Century means 100. What I would love to ask you is to see if you would give $10 for 10 months. And it's really easy to do. You can go on our website, on our giving, and you can set up something to recur every month for $10. You could just do a one-time thing. You could do $50. Anything that you give is an offering above and beyond what you might already give as a tithe. And so that's a way that we can help secure whatever we need for our students and for our student ministry all together without doing chicken dinners or bake sales or magazine drives or cards with discounts, because I don't like to do that stuff, because you do it all anyway. So this is an easy way that we can help facilitate the things that we need if you feel so inclined. EGroups is one thing that we started last year too. We realized that if we wanted to maintain or even grow as a student ministry throughout COVID and through the pandemic, we would need to get smaller. And so EGroups is a way that we found, and we had a great success doing that, and they are our small groups. This is how we operate as small groups. What we do is we ask each one of our leaders who want to commit to being an E-group leader for the year to commit to 5 students. This is like rocket science, but A, B, C, D, E. It's 5. So E-groups is 5 students. And I tell our volunteers, hey, look, I want you to concentrate on your 5 kids. Your 5-piece chicken nugget, not anybody else's, just your 5. And just make contact with them through the week and engage with them one time per week at minimum. And then what ends up happening is our group grows together, and they journey along together, and they do life together. Each E-group looks different. My E-group looks a lot different than Ellyn's E-group. My E-group boys like to come to my house and play Uno and trash talk. That's what they like to do. So that's what we do. And then I sprinkle in a little bit of life in there too. Ellyn's E-group likes to meet and watch Bible study videos and actually talk, because that's what they do, and that's okay. But we get to do life together. So what we're going to do coming up this month in August is we're going to have E-group signups, and that is our on-ramp for students to sign up for an E-group for this year. And so if that is something that you think is important, I want you to have a conversation with your student so that they can consider, because they've got to have buy-in too. If you want to have that conversation so that they can consider joining an E-group for this year, and then we'll launch those E-groups the Sunday after Labor Day. So 4 almost 4 weeks where they can decide, and then we'll put E-groups together and then launch them in September. Final thought, and then I want to turn it over to Ashley and to Jackie. So this weekend we talked about reset, and that over the last 18 months, I don't pretend to know everybody's situation, but I shared that the last 18 months has been one of the most difficult seasons of life that I've ever experienced before. And I'm not a teenager, and there are a lot of things that our teenagers have had to sacrifice and give up that I haven't had to. and that's been difficult. But what I also know is that God has big plans for us as a church and as a student ministry, as a community, I believe, moving forward. And that maybe what we need to do is just to consider a reset. And so I don't know if that is something that you think that you might need as well, but I encouraged and I challenged our students to think about what it might mean for them to reset their relationships, to reset their priorities, to reset, some even need to reset friendships. But then most importantly, if they needed to reset their faith, to change how they journey with Jesus, to change some of their disciplines, to change whatever it is that might be holding them back in their faith, I challenge them to reset. And so I wanted you to know that that's what we talked about last night. I would love to talk to you more about that. If I can help facilitate a reset in your life or your family or your student, that's what I'm here for. That's what we are here for. And so I just thank you for the privilege and the honor of working with and for your students and your families. I don't take it lightly. This is my life's calling. This is what God has put me here on this earth to do. And so I thank you for letting me be a small part of your family's journey and your family's life for however long it is that I have your students. Just thank you.